James Krause kind of gave word advice speaking. He's like, there's some gangsters out in this world, and some of you can beat up on for like 5-10 minutes. On that third round, they'll come back at you with everything. You gonna be so tired, so exhausted, you gonna get beat on and probably get laid out from that person that you were just beating up on for that 5 to 10 minutes because they always stay in your face.
Yeah.
I'm that gangster. I don't care. I push forward. I'm very mean with my elbows and my knees, and everybody kind of underrates me on that one. I break a lot with the elbow. I break a lot with the knees. I do see some unique angles that I throw, and kind of end up taking into account. So I'm like the Savage itself, to the public. I'm always Nate the Savage Smith, but to these fighters, you might as well present to me as King Savage, because at the end of the day, I'm ruling over all, and either you're going to get with or get lost.
This is the Prize Fighting Business. I'm your host, Daniel Caycedo, and today my interview guest is professional mixed martial artist, the unbeaten 5-0 Nate the Savage Smith. Nate currently trains with Elevation Fight Team after switching gyms from Factory X Muay Thai. He's preparing for his next fight on February 21st at LFA 82, where he'll take on fellow unbeaten fighter, the 2-0 Sean Stebbins. He sat down with me ahead of that to have a conversation about his martial arts journey up to this point, his time spent as a junior Olympic wrestler, his extensive amateur career, and the unbeaten start to his professional career. So let's dive into my conversation with Nate the Savage Smith. All right, Nate, thanks for joining me.
Appreciate it. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So you are 5-0 as a pro,
Yes,
and you have 3 wins in a row, 3 submission wins in a row. I'm sorry, 5 wins in a row, but 3 submission wins in a row.
Yes, sir.
And your coming up fight is LFA 82 in Minnesota.
Yes, sir.
And you're fighting a fellow unbeaten 2-0 Sean Stebbins. So what do you know about your opponent?
I really, honestly, I just only know a little bit about him. The only reason being because of the videos I can see just
Sure.
online, that's posted online. But I can tell he's a wrestler, so he
Okay.
kind of dictates a fight by just from his takedowns itself,
Sure.
which I'm honestly I'm not worried about.
Yeah, you have a wrestling background as well.
Exactly. So honestly, that's least of my worries. He is my work because he's in my way, and
right.
apparently, regardless of the experience that he has, he may seem like he has the answer to beat me, and I'm always looking forward to somebody that think they can beat me. I'm not afraid to lose, so
Cool.
I go out there, live by the sword, die by the sword. Simple.
Yeah. Yeah, and you haven't lost yet. I mean, as a pro, at least you're 5-0. But you did have an extensive amateur career. I mean, just on Tapology alone, you have 20 fights there. How many do you remember? How many you did
Bro,
have?
there's a bunch of fights that's on Tapology, and a bunch of them that's not on there.
I
So,
believe it.
I know for a fact it's over like 30 fights, to be honest with
That's
you.
awesome.
Because when I was starting off, I was just fighting just for like the fun of it and
Yeah.
the little additional money that I made.
Yeah.
I mean, broke college student, who would,
Right, right.
But at the same sense, it was kind of getting to the point where I was like, I might be actually good at this. Let me, put a little bit more effort into this. Let me step back and actually study this. Let me study the game itself. Let me learn. Let me ask some questions. I would like randomly text my coaches, my wrestling coaches during the time, Luke Moffitt, Troy Bennett. Was also close friends with Kobe Covington, because Iowa Central is home of a bunch of monsters itself. So, but at the end of the day, I was kind of just discussing with them upon fighting the fight game itself, and that's where like big other major fighters started noticing me out on these local circuits, a bunch of these unsanctioned fights. It's like, oh, this kid has potential. So let me see if I can just nurture him up a little bit. So that's kind of what happened with that.
This episode is brought to you by 5280 Wealth Management and their financial coaching program. For just $249 a month, you can add your own financial coach and advisor to your team. A financial coach at 5280 Wealth Management can help you analyze your cash flow, create a budget, a savings plan, and invest your money to reach your wealth building goals. 5280 Wealth Management assists you in aligning your values with your goals and then building a plan to achieve them. So take control of your finances and your future with 5280 Wealth Management. Visit 5280wealthmanagement.com/financial coaching to learn more and use code TPFB at checkout for 10% off your first month's service. Yeah, I mean, I think you look at the guys that have extensive amateur careers, and they tend to at least start off better as a pro because you've been in those positions, you've got those experiences, you fought in front of the crowds, and you fought all these different types of people too. I mean, getting those looks is big too, and you know, it's put you in the spot now where you're fighting at LFA 82, which is a feeder organization for the UFC. I mean, it's a big spot for you. You're the #1 ranked flyweight in Nebraska, according to Tapology.com too. And you recently switched gyms from Factory X to Elevation, so you're getting even more looks now. And what does fight camp look like for you now? You're exactly a month out from today for your fight. What does fight camp look like now at your new gym for you?
Oh man, all right. So camp itself, it's honestly the best thing I have done so far for the different looks wise, like different style, different viewpoints upon from what I already was taught and being shown at Factory X, alongside what I already know from coming back from Nebraska itself, where Coach Danny Molino or Skywalker 101, shout out. But at the same sense, it's more of growing my style,
right?
Because at the end of the day, like, I don't get me wrong, I have a style itself, obviously, because I'm a wrestler, but at the end of the day, it's unorthodox. And I'm growing, and I'm constantly
evolving,
constantly, and it's always something I can improve on. I feel like once I feel like there's something that I can work on, I'm gonna work on it. Like my mind is completely on focusing on growing myself. I remember even before I ended up moving to Colorado 2 years ago now, when I left Skywalker 101 in Nebraska, I was working with Anthony Smith, and our Professor Scott Morton. We were working on leg locks.
Oh, wow.
So when I left for an entire remainder, for 6 months, I was working leg locks with Anthony and then I moved out here and still was working with Anthony, obviously. I was still focused on nothing but leg locks. Did nothing else but leg locks. I didn't attack no guillotine, no Kimura, no triangle, no armbar. I just focused on nothing but leg locks. The defense and the offense to it. So, and I felt like I need to end up preparing myself for a higher level jiu-jitsu person.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, this is what it's going to take. And I know when the term levels to this, it really is.
Absolutely.
So I want to make sure I'm prepared for better or worse. And it's always going to be for the better on my end, because if somebody else not doing it, then I'm going to be doing it.
I mean, it's very progressive of you and very kind of understanding of the landscape, because jiu-jitsu, we are seeing the guys at the top right now leg locking like crazy, Danaher Death Squad, but also Lachlan Giles and all these guys. I mean, leg locks are a major part of the game now. Like Danaher says, it's half the body, right? Why would you ignore it?
Exactly.
So, I mean, yeah, very, very good of you to be kind of up on that. So, I mean, switching gyms, you're at these Factory X and Elevation, are arguably the top 2 gyms in Colorado, if not, one of the top 2 gyms or 2 of the top 2 gyms in the nation. So, I mean, what is the difference, the biggest differences you see going from one to the other as far as like approach or styles?
The style wise is entirely different. From over at Factory X, it's more of a timing, rhythm, breaking down your opponent and the strategy itself, which is within every aspect of the sport, which every team should end up doing.
Sure.
But every team has their own unique style to it.
Right.
So I consider Factory X more of a technical type of standpoint.
Yeah.
Where it's just straightforward, straight in your face, that type of ordeal. And it's kind of similar to wrestling, where you just kind of Iowa style, with straightforward, hands-on, breaking the guy, point blank, period. But yeah, even sometimes being straightforward isn't always the good approach for other people who kind of You'd be like, okay, so this is what he or she is going to do.
Mm.
Where at elevation, extremely technical, don't get me wrong, but it's flow. It's a flowing technical ordeal.
You do see that with them, yeah.
So it's kind of seeing like art,
Yeah.
because I'm kind of a big fan of art itself. So if you start seeing the painting itself, it starts off insane. You just be like, okay, where is he or she doing? Like, this is not art. This is just a mess. But once it's done, you look at it, it's this massive piece of art.
Yeah.
So it's like madness, controlled madness.
Yeah.
And within that madness, it's just straight technical. It's just like, okay, so you doing this, I'm about to counter this with this entire, from this entire encounter of just coming off like a jab over cross, or I'm just slipping something else but adding in with a little knee or a little aspect. I just learned something from the clinch I have never done before. I was like, oh, I didn't know I can do that, and I'm going to try to see if I can apply it to this fight if I get the chance to.
Cool.
So I'm once we get to that point, once we get to that point, I'm gonna work on some things that I've been really working on with them over at elevation. So between the styles itself, it's more technical, straightforward technical, and more technical flow.
I like that. Yeah, that's a good way to differentiate it.
Oh, yeah.
So more in your face at Factory X, but still technical, and then more flow in at elevation.
Mm-hmm. So it's kind of like an in and out, a circle around your type of ordeal.
Right.
So they're flowing type of gym, but yeah, don't get it twisted. Their flow comes with madness, and that madness is technical. So it's kind of just it's unique, and I like it. I like it.
And like you said, it'll continue to help you grow and evolve over time.
Exactly.
So. And you're relatively still newer to the gym, so you're still feeling it out as far as coaches and stuff. And there's a ton of coaches. I mean, multiple striking coaches, multiple grappling coaches. Elliot kind of overseeing everything.
Mm-hmm.
So for this fight coming up, do you know who you'll have in your corner yet?
Right now I have Coach Peter that's going to end up being in my corner.
Peter Straub.
Yep.
Cool.
And he's going to end up coming out there. Just a simple fact, because me and him kind of getting, starting to get this relationship build up upon this fact, because he noticed that not only that I'm a wrestler, but I'm a grappler as well.
Yeah.
On the jiu-jitsu side of things.
And he's good at that as well.
Exactly. So he helps me out, make these little minor adjustments as even from when we're sparring and as I'm doing my natural ordeal. And sometimes it's like within the last 15 to 30 seconds, actually just more 15 seconds. I'll do something and I will almost have it, but not fully secured.
Sure.
So he's like, "Do you understand the reason why?" And I was like, "No, I'm really not. I'm putting their head and I'm putting their body in a position, but it's not being fully secured. I don't understand why." He's like, "Well, it's just the momentum." The time of the momentum, and then the time of the position. He's like, you wait for the time of my position to end up executing it, and then try to end up securing it, but it won't be fully secured. So that's where they still sit there. It can be tight. They may or may not tap out to it, but same sense. Are you willing to take that risk?
Right.
So I'm not willing to take that risk to have them leach out to something. It could save for a championship fight. Yeah. If I can finish this guy, why not? I'm not for to risk them popping out whatsoever. So I'm not taking the chance.
Right.
So he helps me make that minor adjustment. So that's why I really like Peter on that one. So I like it.
Yeah, it'll be a good guy to have in your corner.
Oh yeah.
So then this fight's at 125. You're a flyweight. What does that weight cut look like for you? I mean, is that a difficult cut? Is that fairly straight up for you? You've been wrestling all this time, so you're used to the weight cut. But like, what are you normally walking around at?
When I'm just being fat, because I'm a fat guy at heart, because I love food. But when I'm not doing anything, the highest I ever got is 160.
Oh, wow.
And then when I'm training, fully training, just consistent, you're talking about 45 down to 38.
Okay.
And just kind of fluctuates between that. So once I am like focused, like just completely in there, you're talking about 140, 38, staying around that range.
Nice.
Shoot back up to 45 at most when I'm in training. And then when it's time, no matter, 25 or 35, making that weight.
Oh, so you'll fight 35 as well, bantamweight as well?
I'm not afraid to fight at
Cool.
nobody at 35. Don't get me wrong, I'm an average 35er, but at the end of the day, I can hold my own. I can hang with the best of them. I know I'm gonna have to put a little bit more energy into the mix, but at the same sense, you do your best, I do mine.
Right.
Simple.
Right. So how much over are you 2 weeks out then?
2 weeks out, I'm probably like, if you're talking about exactly at 25, probably like 10 pounds.
Oh, okay. So you're pretty close, at least 2 weeks out, and then the last week you're just
shedding it small increments, little micro increments amount right off. Just kind of just shedding it off. Probably like 2 or 3 pounds a day. So
Nice.
if you stay, since weigh-ins would be on Thursday, and the fight would be on a Friday itself, so I would probably lose that remainder, probably like 6 to 8 pounds within those 3 days.
So you're pretty close. I mean, especially day before, you're pretty much on it.
Yes, because once like the day of weigh-ins, like I'm probably cutting 2 to 3 of the remaining pounds, no maximum than 5 in the morning of, and then go to weigh-ins and still feel good.
Right.
And not dehydrated, not exhausted, not putting my body through all that. Because the next day, once it becomes fight day, I'm already rehydrated. My body already got accumulated from me being hydrated again.
What are you eating and drinking in between? Like, after weigh-ins, what are you eating and drinking?
Water, some Pedialyte, some bananas. Definitely got to end up having bananas. That's a must. And then once we leave the location, I like to end up having steak. The steak has always been my ordeal. Just because it's heavy on the protein, heavy on the iron itself, so I kind of make sure I hit that pretty hard and continuously drink nothing but water and only water. And like the day of the fight, I will wake up, drink a little bit of Pedialyte, continue drinking water. By a certain time, I should be, urinating clear, and so I can be. That tells me that I'm hydrated.
Right.
By the time my opponent is hydrated, it's about time for us to get ready to fight.
That's right.
So their body's still not fully, accumulated yet.
So you focus on just intaking all those fluids, and the Pedialyte is bringing back the electrolytes for you, helping you retain it a little bit more, so you're not flushing it out with the water.
Exactly. So only drink that a small amount, put that up, and just drink nothing but agua.
Nice.
Nothing but water.
How much do you feel like you're weighing when you walk into the ring?
Ooh,
the cage?
I don't know. Sometimes I feel fat because I just know I kind of got bloated a little bit from the water, but I try to make sure I don't get to the point where I have to, regurgitate a bunch of things I already intake, so I don't want to be that guy.
Yeah.
But I'll probably say I'll shoot back up at, probably like 37, 38.
Nice.
So it all depends on my body itself. If it feels like jumping back to 40, cool.
Sure.
If it just shoots up only a few pounds, cool. But at the end of the day, it's just me rehydrated.
Right.
And having that energy, I'll have so much energy, it doesn't make any sense.
You're not worried so much about how much weight you gain back, more just on how you feel.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because if I don't feel good, it's gonna be a rough night for me.
Right.
And I just know I'm gonna have to be more careful with everything I do. Because any shot would end up hurting me, and it's just me, even for me doing this interview, people are going to be like, oh, we're going to wait for that. But at the same sense, I'm handing out secrets, so at the end of the day, I don't care.
Yeah.
But it would be a rough day for me if I'm not feeling well, if I'm not fully hydrated. I kind of had that experience as an amateur, and I learned that a long time ago, so not making that mistake. Made it once, never again.
Another benefit of an extensive amateur career.
Mm-hmm.
So, in the grand scheme of things, again, LFA, big organization to fight for. What does this fight mean for you?
The fight itself is just another stepping stool, to get to where I want to be, and that's with the UFC.
Yeah.
And I'm not opposed to any other organization like Bellator or ONE FC itself. But it's on my list. It's like I have a bucket list as well. Cool. So it's on my list, and I know for a fact I would be one of the top flyweight contenders in the world, in the UFC in the flyweight division. And that's not me ignoring anybody else on that roster whatsoever, because everybody deserves to get there. Everybody deserves their spot. They earn their keep. Everybody showed their heart, showed how tough they are and how intelligent they are itself. But at the end of the day, it's a new era.
Cool.
It's a new era. It's a new day, and
That's what's up.
every dog has their day. So just know a lot of people just don't understand like how close I am to them.
Absolutely.
And I refuse to get outworked. I refuse to have a gap between me and the next person, because if you think you're better than me, I would love for you to show it to me and prove it to me, no
Cool.
matter what the outcome is going to be.
I love the attitude, man. I love it. I think it's necessary.
It's exciting. It excites
I'm
me,
excited.
man.
Cool. And so you are at Elevation right now. You're getting to work with guys like Corey Sandhagen, we talked about kind of before the show, and different looks again. He's got that flow and style. When we talk about flow and the guys I think of, like the Josh Wicks, the Chepes, I mean they're all got that flow and in your face style, but very flowy. I mean, one punch to a kick to takedowns. It's not like there's any resting with them.
Right.
Corey's going high low with the striking. So
exactly.
Who have you been your primary training partners for this camp?
With Corey, honestly, everybody. I'm not gonna X out anybody just for Corey Sandhagen itself, but
Sure.
Corey's been part of my camp, and you got others, even some up and comers themselves, a couple of amateurs that I'm not working with, and still trying to learn everybody's names. So
sure, yeah, of course.
Please don't kill me. But no, it's with working with Corey, it's been unique. Our styles, man, is so similar. It doesn't make any sense, and it's just I don't know, man. It's unique. Corey's unique.
He is.
And
no one's figured him out yet.
He's sneaky, and that's the thing. His style is similar. Again, it's similar to mine, because it's hard for people to figure me out when they think they have me figured out. With Corey, he's so unpredictable. It doesn't make any sense. So when you got two unpredictable people training with each other with two different styles, it's a unique clash.
Yeah.
So with
Be
Corey,
a fun practice room to watch.
Oh man, I remember with me and him when we very first met. When I very first moved out here, I ended up doing a little training when I was trying to fill out Factory X and Elevation during the time. And I remember sparring with Matthew Lopez, and I got a great round with Matthew Lopez. And they didn't know that nobody in the gym knew who I was at Elevation. They were like, "Who the hell is this kid? Like, where did he come from?" And they're like, "Oh, that's Banks' nephew," like, "Oh yeah, that's fam right there,"
Yeah. Carrington Banks.
Oh yeah, that's family right there. And then the same simple fact that I already knew Drew Dober, he the one that originally invited me out to Elevation.
You guys are both from Nebraska.
Exactly. Yeah. So within that, I didn't even know, Carrington was at Elevation, because I didn't even know. I know he moves when he left Florida, but I didn't know where he was moving to, So it was just a coincidence on that.
Yeah.
So once I ended up getting some rounds, and then after I got done getting some great rounds with Matthew, they asked me, do I want to get a couple more rounds with Cody, and Cody at first was just banging on me, just on me, and I'm smiling because I was like, okay, this is the push I need. This is what I want. And I started, replying back. You got Curtis Blaze, Curtis Big Self sitting outside. He's like, these two are going at it. I love this. And going back and forth. And it taught me a lot. And the guy started asking me, like, are you amateur or pro? Like, I would love to know. I'm like, I'm pro. It was during the time I was just 2-0.
Cool.
And just end up working, just trying to end up bettering myself and just getting ready. And, and ever since then, now for me working with Corey's been showing me a bunch of things that he does, and what works for him and what doesn't work for him, and then alongside what works for me and what doesn't work for me. So it connects.
Right.
So for me to end up being like, okay, with his style, for him being at the top, one of the top contenders
Number
in the
3 right
world.
now. Yeah, number 3 bantamweight in the world.
So from that, and it kind of shows the separation with him and others.
Yeah.
He's exactly where I want to be,
Yeah.
and plus some, because he's already reaching towards that, that point of him getting this shot.
Absolutely.
And that's something that I want to emulate within my career. It's just in my image and my way.
Right.
And it's gonna be tough. I know for a fact it's gonna be tough. But at the end of the day, I can definitely get it done.
Oh yeah.
Because if I know for a fact that if I can hang with the best of them and dish out exactly the same amount, if not more, with the best of them, what makes you think I wouldn't be, with the best of them in my own weight division?
Right.
So like I said before, this fight itself is gonna be a stepping stool towards something I really want. So, within my 5 fights, I've been on a 7-fight winning streak ever since I was an amateur from that. So a lot of people kind of been sleeping on that, man. I mean, cool. Just keep ignoring me.
Yeah.
So it's all right with me. I hate being ignored, but it's all right with me because once I show up in your face, don't be surprised.
Right.
Because I'm not the type of guy that would talk smack. I'm not the type of guy that would attack you like that unless you just been plain disrespectful. If I feel like you've been disrespectful and you got my name in your mouth, then that's entirely different. But otherwise, just keep stuff cordial. I'll rather, I'll be friends with you no matter what, win, lose, or draw.
Yeah.
I'll be friends with you, but don't make it personal.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, it's only going to be me and you in this cage.
Right.
Ain't nobody else is going to save you other than this ref. And you better hope the ref even helps you on that end.
Yep.
Because nowadays, some refs just let things continue. So my hands are up on that.
And someone's O's got to go in this one, so that'll be exciting.
Oh, cool. Yeah. Oh, yeah, I can't wait. I can't wait.
You mentioned that you love food. So how do you control your diet and nutrition? I mean, is that something you're doing? Do you have help with that?
Just based off from trials and errors with my own body, I don't really have anyone that can help me with that.
But you've been wrestling since 6 years old, something where you've had to be at least cognizant of what you're intaking, you controlling your diet.
Mm-hmm.
And, I mean, got to make weight consistently all the time.
Oh, man, that sucked. I hate weight cutting. Like, still to this day, it's, like, not my fan favorite.
I feel you.
Like, I would cry and be the biggest baby about it because I do not like cutting weight. Like, I hate it. I'd be hangry. Just be like, yeah, I don't like you. You got too much energy this morning. Like, I'm not trying to, be a part of this right now, but I'm there. I gotta do what I have to do. And being forced at waking up 5, 6 o'clock in the morning just to run outside in the freaking cold, even in Iowa. Jesus.
Yep.
Like the cold, bruh. The cold is real, and kind of pushes me to that early point where I gotta understand. There's gonna be times where it's gonna have to happen like that. There's gonna be times where I have to end up focusing super early instead of later on. Because most people get adaptive, getting focused later on in the day. Wake up probably like 8, 9 o'clock in the morning, and then start training around 9:30 or 10, and push things off to a later day. Where I naturally wake up super early because of some fact this is what my body. I train my body to get up at.
Yeah.
I get up and I be busy. I'm active. This is something that I'm not used to. Even when I'm out of camp, which is very rarely because I'm always training, so I'm never really out of camp. But anytime I have a day off or have a little time to myself, I would naturally wake up within 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. I'd just be like,
Well, to get more in the day, more done during the day too. And you mentioned, before the show that you've got a 3-a-day scheduled for today, 3 practices today. So, can't do that if you're not waking up early in the morning.
Man, because from for today and then the little errands I gotta run.
Yeah.
And by the time, because I got sparring today, it's kickboxing sparring, so it's gonna be a good look. Just once I get back, see where my weight is at, make sure I'm not shooting back up highly, but maintaining my weight wise and like I said before, I really don't have help, and it's just based off that past experience. I kind of know what works and what doesn't work.
Right.
And I had to make some minor adjustments as much as I got older. My metabolism started slowing down a
Sure,
little bit
of
more.
course.
I
So
mean,
how often are you eating during the day? Do you have like a steady set schedule for yourself, or are you just eating as you need it?
eating as I needed, to be
Yeah.
honest with you, because sometimes I could just end up taking like a little protein shake,
Mhm.
and honestly, I feel good. You know, it replaces a bunch of meals I probably end up missing out from. You know, me being so active and so busy itself.
Right. It's
So,
hard to fit in eating a lot of times.
and it is, and it's funny that to say that because I love food.
Yeah.
Like I will eat, I will cook, or I will go find some places. I love going to like restaurants or even small places just to check it out
Absolutely.
and eat whatever they got that's on there. Be like, okay, so this is your favorite. This sounds good, you know, and then let's try it out.
Right. Cool.
And just end up going from there, even towards their drinks, man. You know, having a nice little beer or they little house brew, whatever they got in there. But at the end of the day, I kind of maintain. I'm I'm skipping on the word that I'm trying to think of. I moderize a lot of things and try to make sure I don't overeat. You know,
Sure.
as far
right.
as
That's the hard part.
man, especially when you like something.
I know it. I know it.
Yeah.
Cool, cool. So you control the diet. I mean, do you find yourself cooking a lot, or I mean, is it eating out mainly? What do you?
I find myself cooking a lot.
Yeah.
Because I like to cook itself, so I
Cool.
kind of go out and grab the ingredients that I normally eat and normally within, you know, chicken, no skin, no bone, boneless chicken breast or chicken itself, just no skin at all. I do a lot of bacon, pan frying, and bro, so good. And then as well with steak, as well within the fish and chicken.
So high protein diet.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then even within, because I just know how much I burn.
Mm-hmm.
Even within that, a lot of vegetables, mixed vegetables at that, or get some fresh vegetables like you know some asparagus, things of that nature. You chop them up, bake them, or you know again pan fry them in some organic olive oil
Or
just
that
regular
bacon fat.
Oh man, ooh, I did. Okay, so I definitely did some bacon wrapped asparagus like 2 days ago. It was so good. I'm kind of upset because I used all the asparagus in the house. It was really good.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, man.
What about and again it's probably different right now because you are transitioning to this new gym, new team,
Yeah.
but what does a normal week of camp look like for you? Like you mentioned today, so today's Tuesday. You got 3 scheduled training sessions today. Are you training like Monday through Saturday, Monday through Sunday? What does that look like?
Monday through Friday, and I kind of just do, like I said, I kind of do my own little additionals on the side, get my own little workout in. Sometimes I will wake up and on the day of resting, you know, if I feel like I'm fully rested, I could just go out for a run or do a little workout, get a little
So you
lift
do
in.
some road work in addition to everything else?
Of course,
Cool.
of course. I'm my boy Terrence Bud Crawford told me once. He goes, if you don't do no groundwork, then who's gonna do it for you?
Hey, and that's the Nebraska world champion right now, right?
You feel me? Yeah. That man hits like a truck.
Yeah, dude, he's
Jesus.
so good.
That
So
man.
good. I love watching him fight.
Oh man, he's amazing. Great individual, great person to talk to.
Yeah.
Funny, goofy. You wouldn't even expect it. You know, he's a goofy individual. Bud is a great guy alongside with, you know, my boy, you know, his coaches with Red and Bo Mac and, you know, the rest of the coaching staff. And it's just I kind of, like I said, I nitpick at a lot of people,
right,
upon certain things,
Smart.
and this is something that I take because at the end of the day, I'm young. I'm 24,
Damn.
about to be 25.
Got a lot of experience.
25 in this upcoming April, you know, and I kind of just continue to grow because I have yet to hit my prime.
Of course, yeah.
And I always I was saying that even during wrestling wise, I was like, I have yet to hit my prime. I have yet to do this. And I was making so many accomplishments at such a young age. So it was just kind of a transitional ordeal where I was just like, okay, I'm done with wrestling. Let me put my efforts in something else. And this sport has to be it because I seen it as an art form, not as, you know, just combative itself or a way to make make quick cash. So I kind of just fell in love with the sport. So it's kind of similar to how I fell in love with wrestling, how I fell in love with football itself. Once I started loving the sport and understanding the sport and breaking it down, and never stop learning.
Yeah.
That's the greatest way to grow and continue to grow and getting that experience. So
Right.
that's the same approach I have for those, the same approach I have for this one, but I just expect I hold myself to a higher standard for this sport itself because I believe I can get a lot done, and I really hope, you know, within this new year, this 2020 year, I'm gonna make it my year and continue to push and continue to let it be known, be like, hey, my name is Nate Smith, et cetera, whatever my record would be, and I'm here to take over, not take part.
That's right.
And I mean, if you ever dream of beating me, you might as well wake up and apologize. Simple.
Yeah, and so you take that kind of traditional approach to the cardio, the road work that you echo Terrence Crawford in that regard, as far as running outside of practice and stuff too. Just kind of get that base level heart rate worked up. But I mean, you're also training 2 other times a day as well. I mean, Monday through Friday. What does Monday through Friday generally look like?
From wrestling to kickboxing, jiu-jitsu, gi and no gi, because I kind of hop in both sides, even with the team itself. Positional training, situational training as well. Cardio, strength and conditioning within my lifting, and then alongside with just pure MMA sparring itself, and then the additionals that I do behind that, because again, I used to get to the point where I used to get kicked out the gym.
Yeah, it sounds like you're doing a little bit of everything.
Yeah, man. I remember my coaches used to be like, Nate, like, what are you doing? Why are you here? Leave. Like, there's no point in you being here. So okay, I'll leave. And I would literally hit up a friend of mine that, another coach that I come across that I met alongside, be like, hey, got any training going on right now? All right, cool. I'm about to come over there real quick, or just do my own ordeal, I do a lot of swimming.
Oh, yeah. Nice.
So I kind of got forced into that college-wise back in Iowa Central. Okay. So I do a lot of swimming.
Oh, so, Iowa Central. So is that where you met Carrington?
Oh, no. Me and Carrington go way back. So, his it's not my actual family, but he's been family to me. So his older brother was one of my high school wrestling coaches.
Gotcha.
And he was the head coach of my high school. So for me training, wrestling at Austin High School, and then also cross training at Oak Park Real Forest High School, I was doing a lot of ordeals, and I kind of seen Carrington was stepping into the MMA world. And I wasn't really paying much attention to it, but at the same sense, I was kind of like interested.
Yeah.
And during that time frame wise, me and Carrington and his brothers, we ended up building this bond, because statistically, I'm not even supposed to be here. Coming from the west side of Chicago, we barely end up making past the age of 11, let alone for me to be here, to done what I done, seen what I seen, travel where I travel, where most people won't be able to make it out of Chicago, So it's a beneficial factor. His family kind of just took me in. They tell me they're so proud of me. They keep up with me.
That's great.
And their mom and their dad. I make sure I say hello. I say hi. And everybody just kind of be like, "We're proud of you. We see how much you've grown. We see how much you."
It's a beautiful thing having that support network.
Man, it's beautiful. And even from there. Clay Guida was in the mix. I didn't even know who he was.
That carpenter.
Bro, it was at a tournament. Everybody's running up, taking photos with him. I see Coach Izzy over there. Izzy known me since I was a little boy.
The Izzy style wrestling guy?
Yeah.
Cool.
So he was being around the Montini crew. So I was just, from me being with the Oak Park crew, so I was just over there doing my ordeal, and I'll just be like, who is this guy? Like, can anybody tell me who he is? And I did not know who Clay Guida was.
Yeah.
And later on, they're like, yeah, he's a fighter. So I was like, okay, cool. Like,
before fighting was really on your radar.
Right. Yeah. So, don't get me wrong, because I watched the UFC, but I wasn't in depth like that.
Right.
Because the only ones I knew was like Chuck Liddell, Tito Ortiz,
Right.
you know, some the old hits. I just ended up knowing those, you know. So I was just like, okay, cool, you know, that's cool. But the more as I got older, and I ended up meeting Clay, and I ended up working with him a couple of times when I went to do some cross training wrestling wise,
Yeah.
and used to end up showing us some techniques. So I was kind of got interested. I was just like, oh, like how you do that? Yeah, okay. So why would you do that? So then within that, I was already doing a little martial arts training in the mix, because I always as a kid, I always kept myself active. Did a little judo and then a little Muay Thai, but I never really like went forth and continued doing it. I just ended up taking a little experience while I was taught and ran with it. So and that was just like in my neighborhood, in my local neighborhood. It was
Cool.
just MMA class to take up.
And so it sounds like you kind of create your own regimens a lot of times, you know, whether it be diet, nutrition, your weight cutting strategy, you know, how you approach your training. Like you said, I mean, you've met all these very influential people, these people that are very talented as well, and you take a little bit from them and put it into your own game, and you run with it and you do your thing. So you picked up running, you picked up swimming. What else do you do for strength and conditioning?
Honestly, just off of what I was shown from the trainers that I worked with in the past, and continue to do so. I'll continue to do that, and wherever that pops up in my mind, be like, oh yeah, I forgot about this. Like my ankle training, my agility, my footwork.
So not
speed
so
drills.
much powerlifting necessarily,
Yeah.
more like you said, agilities, footwork stuff.
Moving my own body weight in that order. For my size, like I'm pretty strong for my size, and I kind of move other people's weight, if that makes sense. If a guy is like 190, I'm pretty sure I can, you know, lift them up and move them as
Well,
well.
that's what wrestlers are good at, right? Moving other individuals.
Man, like especially when you're growing, because I'm small and I always lift the same as like when my boy back in high school, when I was like very active into lifting. The max I have ever reached was 230 pounds, and I was nowhere near
Wow.
that weight,
Yeah,
and
that's
let
good.
alone like was like barely walking around $125.
Yeah.
So I'm pushing this type of weight, and I was just like, oh, okay, I'm getting it done. So it tells me I'm strong at least, but in the same sense, I wasn't able to do many pull-ups, and I kind of noticed that. So
Body weight stuff, yeah.
So I was like, okay, let me make an adjustment. So I started doing a lot of body weight training, and then
it's more functional.
Oh man, even from that, in running with like ankle weights and my sand vest, doing some pull-ups and push-ups on that.
Just making it harder for yourself.
Oh man, like if I can find a way to make it harder, I'm going to do it.
Cool.
Because I kind of been taught, like, you know, there's no easy route in life, and a lot of people take the easy route than the hard route, and everybody be like, you know, it's optional, and it is. It's optional to fail too, but at the same sense, like I'd rather take the hard route than the easy route, because some routes even easy become hard, and when you're unused to hard, then you're gonna end up failing on that easy route. But
Especially
if you take the hard route, it becomes easy.
Yep.
So once things become easy, you know, I just don't get comfortable, because you already got comfortable being it hard. So now you're gonna continue to push yourself in that hard route.
Yeah.
So I kind of keep that mentality, be like, let's make it hard. Let's push. Let's see how
that grind.
Let's see how far we can go from there.
Cool.
So it kind of, I always kind of, like I said, I kind of make things hard for myself, and where others be like, nah, that's not working smart. That's working hard. I was like, well, that's working smart for me, because at the end of the day, there's gonna be a gap between me and you. So you take your pick. Like I already have mine. I don't have to help you out on that one, bro. Like if you want to do it, do it. If you want to push yourself, push yourself. If you want to grow. But at the end of the day, it's what you choose, what route you choose to end up growing, because you can grow slowly. That's how I'm doing. I'm growing slowly, but not too slow though. But I'm growing slowly but surely, where
consistently,
just constantly showing growth and constantly learning and willing to learn, versus easy route where it's just rushed. Okay, everybody can be like, oh, okay, well, let's move on to the next thing.
Yeah.
Where you mentally in your head, you're telling yourself, you know, you're not fully ready for that yet, right?
Sure.
And
Well, rushing into a pro career, right? You know, something
exactly,
that you took your time with.
exactly. Because even from that, I noticed a lot of amateurs that turn over
Oh,
to pro
absolutely.
and get murdered and have the worst record, the worst career alongside. They have their ups and downs, but it'd be unbalanced because yet they're still at the amateur state of mind. Not even the state of mind, just attribute where they're not really hitting that pro level circuit yet, and sometimes they won't get to that point until like in the 30s.
Oh, yeah.
You know, they're like 30s, and sometimes that's too late for others. You know,
And hopefully they didn't take too much damage early in the pro career.
Mm-hmm. So, I kind of, like I said, I kind of took a lot of lessons in my amateur career, where it kind of got me at where I'm at now. Because amateur career, I didn't care, and even for my pro career, I still don't care. Just kind of having a different approach with it. But amateur wise, I didn't care no matter win, lose, or draw. I was learning. I was like,
and that's what it's for. That's what amateur career is for. That's why they wipe the slate clean when you go pro.
Right, and that's the thing, because at first I didn't even know about it. I was just like, bro, my record gonna be terrible. From the amount of fights that I lost to the amount of fights that I won, and I've only been I've been knocked out only once in my entire life.
Oh wow.
And then alongside with it being submitted, now it happened a lot, but not a lot, but a few times. But a lot of fights that I lost was literally by decision.
Yeah.
A split decision. So it was just one of those ordeals where I just kind of got outworked.
Sure.
Or, you know, didn't have lack of certain experience in certain areas. So
that's why you knock it out as an amateur.
Man, and now where I'm sitting at as a pro, where I have no excuse.
Yeah.
And that's how I feel. I'm like, the only way for you to beat me, you have to be the better man than me that day.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, like, I'm going to give my all. And I expect for you to give your all. I don't underestimate nobody, but at the end of the day, if you feel like you can beat me, show me.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to show you why I can beat you. And once I show that to you, cool. Like I said, we keep things cordial, be friends. If you don't. You don't have to shake my hand. I'll always be the first one when we go out. I'll touch, and I'll end up saying the words, good luck. That's it, even if you don't reply.
Yeah.
That's me being polite. I was raised right. I got coming from some southern and northern grandparents. So at the end of the day, that's just me. But yet, disrespectful.
Right.
The hood side of me kick in. And I'm like, all right, cool. We don't got to talk. We don't got to shake hands. I just give you a nod. That's it. And then at the end of the day, once I get done bullying you, and then you come back and apologize to me, cool. It's water underneath the bridge. If not, whatever.
Yeah, right.
You ain't stopping me. I'm not fed to stop my career or stop my life and just be like, oh, this person don't like me.
Yeah.
I don't care. I can care less about who likes me and who don't like me. I can care less upon what they think and how they think about me. What I care about is literally me growing and learning.
It's paying off.
And that's the thing, man.
Yeah.
I believe my mentality and my approach on certain things is entirely different than others. And if I meet like-minded person that's like that and I fight, I already know it's gonna be a bloodbath.
Yeah.
I already know it's gonna be a hard fight. I look forward to those type of fights. I get excited about those type of fights because at the end of the day, it's gonna be so much fun for me, and the benefit of me, not even just from me being my own brand, but alongside with I don't know how else to put it, like just pushing myself and growing, man.
Yeah.
Like I look forward to those type of fights.
Oh, yeah.
Kind of like how Donald Cerrone comes with that anytime, anywhere, any place. I agree with him. Just send me your time, send me your location. I'll pull up.
Send me location.
It is what it is, and I'm not the type to shy away from anything or anyone, and I'm always putting myself out there. I'm always saying, hey, I'll take the fight, I'll do it, and if my coaches agree with it, cool. If my coaches don't, cool. That's
Yeah.
okay. That's why they're there.
Right,
You know,
right.
because at the end of the day, they can be like, probably now is not the time. Let's fight this opponent next
Sure,
time.
sure.
Okay, cool. It's not me ducking you. I already been said yeah. It's just my coach said no.
Sure,
So
yeah, yeah.
this is the reason why they there.
But I mean, you're traveling for this fight. You're going to Minnesota, you know, enemy
Mhm.
territory, to take on this guy for your 6th pro fight.
Oh man, he thinks it's enemy territory. I used to live in Minnesota.
Oh, okay.
With my aunt back in St. Paul and Minneapolis.
Nice.
So I got a ton of family out
Cool.
there.
That'll be exciting then.
Oh,
Get rowdy out there.
Oh, what? Everybody's been hitting me up. They're like, we're
Sick.
going. And then my grandmother is coming
Cool.
on my dad's side. So she never been to this type of event.
Oh, wow.
My dad, he was talking to me yesterday. He's like, I'm not coming to that. I was like, why not? He's like, you're my firstborn.
Yeah, I don't want to watch that.
He's like, I do not want to watch that, because he's like, if I hear anybody get rowdy, I want to hit him. He's like, and my dad was, you know, he has a boxing background.
Okay.
So he never really did much with it, but
Sure.
same sense, he just have that experience. And he's just like, he's like, nah, I just can't. He's like, I can't see my baby up in there. I was like,
That's
oh,
how my
yo,
parents are.
you know? And I'm just like, all right, Pops, you just being soft now. I'm just, and, you know, just kind of laughing at him, picking at him a little bit. But it's same since my grandmother's coming out for this one. And
That's cool.
It's kind of, it's an honor and privilege,
Yeah,
you know, for her to end up coming out. It's going to
Show
be
her what you do.
Oh, man. And I'm definitely not going to, you know, go down in front of my grandmother.
That's right. That's right.
What? No. Who does that? No.
That's cool, man. So just to kind of get an overall picture of what you're working with. So you got Elevation in your corner coming up for this fight.
Yes, sir.
You handle your own diet, nutrition, strength and performance, working with training alongside number 3 bantamweight in the world, but all these other killers that are in Elevation's training room too.
Mm-hmm.
So getting all these different looks, kind of evolving the style. So take me back, kind of help me understand how you got here. So you were, for those that don't know, you were a junior Olympic wrestler and Greco-Roman as well. You started wrestling when you were 6 years old. So what did that journey look like? I mean, how do you become a junior Olympic wrestler?
It was a lot of long nights, a lot of long days, a lot of crying, a lot of disappointment, a lot of lessons, and humbleness being applied into it. It was a bunch of people that didn't believe I could do it, and it was a bunch of things going against me, because the way how Chicago works is like inner city and suburbs. The suburbs do not like the inner city kids whatsoever. Kind of treat us like trash in certain areas, and kind of favor the suburb kids. So I kind of took offense to that. So I kind of start beating these people that's supposed to beat me. And I'll beat them with ease, and I make it look nasty. So I kind of got the nickname Nasty Nate, growing up wrestling-wise, and then college-wise was like Big Nasty. But that's just hilarious, because I kind of, it grew on me, so I kind of got it tattooed on me when I graduated high school, so I kind of ended up doing that. But
now you're the Savage, Nate Savage Smith.
Oh, man, got that on me, too. Everything's, if it has a history behind it, has a story behind it, you know, if it's worth getting, I'm going to get it.
Cool.
But with wrestling itself, man, I was really pushed. I was really determined on not only growing as an athlete, a student athlete, but as well as an individual, you know, and going to a ton of camps, always getting a ton of work in. There's not a coach in Chicago, Illinois, that you can ask about me, be like, Nate always look for additional practice. I always look for different views. I always willing to go out and travel on my own expense, to, you know, learn and help out with camps, show up. I would be there.
You can't beat putting those hours in.
I would be there. And it was not even just from the hours, just placing in hours, because my mindset was just grow.
Yeah.
Like, let's grow. Let's not settle. And to get to that point, I just end up, I didn't even know I was doing it until I ended up doing a couple tournaments, ended up being told, oh, yeah, you're going to travel over here, do this tournament, and, you know, just end up winning. I didn't think of the aspects, you know, behind that. Didn't know I qualified for trials after I win the tournament. I win a certain couple of tournaments.
How old are you at this time?
When I cracked in, I was, 15?
Okay.
15, 16.
So you're in high school already.
Yeah.
Cool.
So, no, I was 15, yeah. So when I cracked in, I was 15, and then
And that's the trials.
And I didn't even know I was doing it. I was just being told like, okay, this is the all season schedule. This is what we're gonna do. So on and
Right,
so
because
forth.
Greco-Roman style or freestyle is off season for people in the United States because regular season is more folk style.
Yes.
So you were doing these off style trainings and you stumble your way into an Olympic trials, junior Olympic trials.
And I just kind of
Greco-Roman
just took myself in there and did what I was told to do. It was some tough matches, and then win and be like, oh well, welcome to the team. Huh?
Wow.
Be like, what? Oh, okay, I did that. And during the time, that's where I met like Mayor Emmanuel.
Rahm Emanuel?
Yeah,
Cool.
and kind of end up
That's a big deal. That's neat.
just talking to him upon things, and then alongside with other aldermen that was in my neighborhood that was around.
Rahm Emanuel is the brother of the dude that runs WME who owns the UFC.
Really?
Yeah, Rahm Emanuel's brother is Ari Emanuel. He's allegedly the guy that they made Ari, the character in Entourage, after.
Wow.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. See, you learn something new every day. Yeah, but yeah, man, like from me doing that and making a name for myself from the inner city, I represented on the behalf of the kids from the west side of Chicago, man. I kind of made sure I was just like, I'm doing my thing, and I get messages from childhood friends and even people that was used to be bullies, because I used to get bullied a lot back in elementary. So it was more of like, hey, the hood's proud of you. Like, you don't understand like how proud we are to see somebody from our neighborhood make it out, let alone accomplish what you have accomplished.
Yeah.
So like, even like the hood guys, they'll leave me alone. They'll be like, oh, that's Lil Nate. Just let him be, man. Like, he's good. He's cool.
What a vote of confidence and an incredible experience for a young man. I mean, coming up too. I mean, it's got to encourage you that you're doing the right thing. You're on the right path.
And even within that, I just kept pushing. Obviously, even first time butterflies, scared, and kept breaking through. It was even I forgot his name. He's now he represents Italy. And he won. I remember him back in the tournament. We were at I think we were at the same weight class that time, and then he just ended up getting eliminated and ended up winning the Olympic trials.
Wow.
He even faced Jordan Burroughs.
Wow.
At Sunkiss in New York City. So I remember that, because now I'm not that in depth with wrestling.
Right,
I don't really pay that much attention anymore. So there's a lot of new young cats out there.
Yeah.
But no, man, it was just, from that aspect of thing, kind of gave me that experience, that international experience of how to expect travel with the team, going to different places, going to different tournaments.
That level of competition too.
I mean, from here, Thailand, Europe, Mongolia, China itself. Like, we are even going against even people from the country Georgia, and et cetera, et cetera. But at the same sense, it was beneficial. I actually, what was it, 2 weeks ago, I looked back at a couple old photos that I had on social media. It was one of them from during the trials. I had busted my cauliflower ear. It was fresh then, and busted open. It was like the first time I busted and got my head wrapped. I could just see the blood dripping down, and I'm laughing. I'm laughing with one of my teammates, and I think I was going into the semifinals of a tournament. And I really don't remember, but I just remember me just putting in work. And even when I got done, when the tournament got done, it was still people that stayed and got additional, want to do additional matches. You can, because the tournament kind of ended a little bit early sometimes. And when I was working with my coaches from Austin, and also in Oak Park with Coach Mike Powell, he was like, you want to always get like 60 plus matches, like make a goal for yourself each year, even during the summer, like make a goal for yourself, try to extend that number. And I always did. I'd try to get over 100 plus matches, man, and I would always end up going in there. I would go against the same dude that I just went against in the finals, or the same guy that I felt like that was tough, and I got past them barely.
Yeah.
Those the type of dudes that would come back and just murder everybody. I want to go against that kid again
Man.
versus the kid that I'll face in the finals.
And that's more invaluable experience. 60 matches a year. I mean, that's incredible. I mean, it's an experience that no one can take from you.
Man, wow. How my coach put it is he called it the blueprint. We have the blueprint for you. We have it all laid out. You just have to follow the blueprint.
Yeah.
If you follow the blueprint, you're gonna end up getting what you want within those expectations. But that's if you stick with the blueprint.
Sure.
So that blueprint was laid out for me.
You just had to put in the work.
That's it. And then I kind of took off on my own with it and started doing a little bit more. And I was just like, oh, okay, let's do this, And still to this day, I can just pull up, go to my old high school and then as well, Old Park Real Forest and get some work in. Even pull up to Coach Izzy over there at Montini and get some work in because at the end of the day, I'm always looking to grow. I'm always looking to learn. I'm always looking to push myself to new heights because, I have asthma and I pushed myself to point exhaustion, and that's where I learned how to focus on my tunnel vision, how to focus on just staying technical. Those are the times where I am the most vulnerable, and I feel like I need to step back, take a breath, and focus on the little things. Because right now, a person can just be pushing forward, trying to end up taking a shot, or hitting this particular takedown. That's where people get lazy during later on in the matches, or extensive amount of matches in overtime, where everybody just be like, he was defending it very well earlier, but now as it goes longer, he's like dying down.
Yeah.
Where I just honestly, where now I just we're just putting in the effort. I hit everything hard. Everything got to get hit hard, and I'm not fed up lack anything. Sometimes I'll go with the motion of it. You can be bigger than me or stronger than me, I might throw you. I like throwing people.
Greco-Roman style.
I like throwing people, and
that judo.
Man, I really love throwing people. Like belly to belly throws are the hardest throws for you to even not only learn but alongside to do even in a live match.
Yeah, really, you're only seeing Cormier do them in the UFC.
Exactly. So that kind of separate Cormier from what he did, and then little do anybody know like John Jones. John Jones has ridiculous Greco-Roman wrestling.
Speaking of Izzy style, I mean, he's working with him too.
Mm-hmm. And it's kind of like I said, from me being from Iowa Central, where you got my uncle, Kobe Covington, and then you got John Jones and Cain Velasquez, all came from us national champions at Iowa Central.
Arguably one of the best, I mean, if not the best state for wrestling in the U.S.
Man, and everybody got their styles. The West Coast got their little funky style. Ohio got their funky style. Texas, they have a unique, strict style, but it's kind of different. Where you got towards like the East, going towards like New Jersey and things of that nature, they're just pure funk. They're technical but just funky, So where you got the Midwest, it's just straight. We're just technical. We're straightforward, hard nosed, just technical.
Yeah.
Iowa is just straightforward, hands on, push, break that man before they break you. And I kind of learned that aspect because I refused to. It actually started off with me not wanting to puke because I hate puking because I hate the smell of it. It's disgusting. Yep. So I kind of when coaches used to try to break me, I try to end up smile and laugh in their face, be like, "You're not breaking me," and they will push me. They will continue to push me. They were like, "Let's go, Nate. Let's go." Da da da. I could be dumb tired, and they be talking so much crap.
There's no limits in wrestling.
No, they be talking so much crap, and I just be like, well, you ain't gonna do this, and I would be talking so much smack, and they could be beating on me, and at the end of the day, I refuse to be broken, and they push me every single day.
So this is in college?
College, high school.
So where'd you wrestle in college?
College, Iowa Central.
Cool. And while you're getting 2 bachelor's degrees, and for people that don't know, you're also halfway through a graduate degree, so I mean, it's an impressive feat to be able to balance everything like that.
Man, I try. I try. Just school, I just end up having to take a break. That's just because once you go like just from high school straight into to junior college, and then you end up getting done with junior college, going to your next ordeal. It was just exhausting. So I had to mentally take a step back and be like, okay, you had enough. Let's not, overload the system
Can't
itself.
sprint forever. Yeah.
Exactly. So let's take a breather. So I kind of for these past 2 years been kind of taking a break. And I'm thinking, like I said, I'm thinking about doing it again, but I'll see.
Yeah.
But I just know how difficult it is, and
Yeah. Such a balance of the pro fighting career.
Man, and then especially within that, I refuse to be broken. That's always been my mentality, and it still is, and it's it's damn near impossible to break me.
Yeah.
Because I would fight with a broken rib cage, and even people would be like, that's hard to breathe and it's painful.
Yeah.
And I'm like, but it's been done.
So when did fighting become a thing? So your first, I mean, at least Tapology, your first amateur fight is in 2014.
Oh yeah, the one that was recorded, that was for MCC, I believe. Yeah.
So when did fighting become a thing in your mind? Like when did you say, "Hey, this is something I could do"?
The more I see myself growing, and the more others around me start noticing my skill and attribute, like, hey, you can actually do something with this. So I kind of sat down, and I kind of, like I do everything, I weigh the pros and the cons, I write it down, and
So you formally do it. That's cool. Writing it down.
so I kind of just seen the aspect of it. I'm like, this could be beneficial, and let's see. And that was before my I have a 4-year-old, I have a child, and before my daughter got in the mix, I was kind of just like, I think I can do it, but I don't know if I'm willing to take that risk, because I was still dreaming of the Olympic aspect of things, wrestling wise, and I wanted to do more, but then I stopped. It got to the point where I wasn't having fun anymore. So once I stopped having fun, I'd be like, okay, I did what I wanted to do. I had fun, Now it's to the point where I'm not finna drag it out and ruin my reputation from that.
And fighting was on the table at this point.
So it's either fighting, or it was just gonna work a regular 9 to 5 and still go to school and or take a break, and that wasn't the case. I wanted to do something more, and I even had some friends that wanted me to get back into football. But I was like, that's not happening. I can't make the weight like that no more. But
so you took it.
Yeah.
You make it sound like it's not your first fight, but you take your first fight on, at least that's recorded at 19, age 19. Okay. So in 5 years, I mean, essentially, you're 24 now. So in 5 years, you knocked out over 25 fights.
Man, I was always the guy they called on, and then I didn't care. I was just stupid, young and stupid, taking fights at the highest I ever went was like 155, and I only fought that weight class one time, and a couple times at 145, and then stayed down from there. But even at that, you got guys that I know for a fact that didn't weigh in, or didn't didn't weigh nowhere near close to that, and I had to deal with that.
Walk around 185.
Oh man, freaking! I remember because I with Nate Rendez, it came in with an undefeated record, and everybody, they had this poll. So with the poll, they were like saying like, "Oh, Nate's gonna knock me out. He's gonna do this, this, and this." But what's funny is the people that recognize me, and I remember when I went to the back, and I'm chill and listening to music. I like talking to people. I like going out, watching the fights, being a spectator.
Yeah.
And the co-guy's like, "Yo, we remember your wrestling background. Like, how you doing this? How you feel?" I'm like, I'm just go out there and do whatever whatever I feel. And I had my coach Troy Bennett up in my corner during that time. And I went out there and I put on a hell of a show. They even still got the highlights of me and Nate on YouTube. If you type in Nate Smith MCC, it'll pop up like the old highlight clip of me beating Nate, throwing him around the ring, and him getting to a top mount position. I remember in the second round, and then the third round, I just constantly just I'm throwing him all across the ring, and I'm taking it to him and hurting him, and that's where everybody's head started turning me. And I won fight of the night. So claimed very first fight.
Yeah.
I won fight at night, and then from there, I kind of just ended up having my ups and downs, and fought Nate again and lost to him for the belt that he ended up having, but kind of learned from there where I don't need to rush in. When I hurt somebody and I drop them, I don't need to rush in, and kind of got in a scramble. And I didn't really have much of a grappling background. Caught me in a triangle.
Yeah.
And like he did in last time, he caught me in a triangle.
Wrestlers find themselves susceptible to that before they kind of learn the defense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I was kind of getting irritated. I was like, this is not happening again. So I started studying.
Nice.
And started learning and started training and started taking my training a little bit more serious. And now started continue to grow, and everybody was trying to push me to go pro early. And I was just like, that's not happening.
Yeah.
Once I feel ready and feel confident, then I'll do it.
What was that point? When was it that you decided, hey, I mean, over 20 fights as an amateur, when did you decide this is it? This is the point where I need to go pro?
I'm trying to think. Was it? Yeah, it was more on the long side after I was fighting for victory.
Yep.
I think my very first fight with victory itself. And I kind of ended up telling the interviewers, like with Pat Miletich and them, I was just like, yeah, I'm very close to turning pro, and I'm feeling ready. I'm just getting the rest of the pieces together, and that's when I'll let you guys know. And after I had some ups and downs, and then from there,
what was your goal back then? I mean, what were you doing it for?
Honestly, just feel confident in every aspect, like jiu-jitsu, Muay Thai, and then with my wrestling itself, and then striking, and getting familiar with striking, together. Just putting it all together, and feeling confident behind my work. If I don't feel confident behind it, I'm not doing it. And it's just, I'm not the type to follow the fad and believe the hype, and everybody be hyping up like, oh, Nate, you should, you be ready. You're ready to be turned pro. When are you gonna turn pro? You should turn pro for this next fight. And that's how young amateurs end up falling into that hole, and they end up doing exactly what others believe that you're ready for. But when you're not mentally or physically ready for that, take your time, bro.
Good for you.
Like I took my time.
Yeah, that's great.
So from there, I just kind of end up saying, all right, cool. And the last fight was when I won the Victory Flyweight title.
Pat Miletich's interviewing you?
Oh, man. No, this one was in Iowa.
Okay.
So he wasn't there for that one. That wasn't on one of the UFC Fight Pass cards. That was when I very first fought for the belt. I lost to Jeff Molina. And I ended up taking him on, and I really didn't like the cat because me and him got some history. I even jumped over. I remember getting kicked out the building. I jumped over the gate because he tried to come at me sideways. So I didn't like him. So I still don't. But
so you had 2 more fights after that.
Oh, yeah.
As an amateur.
As an amateur. So after I left, I lost to Jeff Molina, ended up taking a couple more fights and ended up winning the belt. Then after I won the belt, I was like, okay, now I'm ready. So once I ended up saying that, I got what I wanted. I got Jeff Molina for my first fight, and he's a tough top prospect coming out of James Krause's gym. So alongside with that, so I got him out of the way. I remember Anthony was commentating the fight, and that was being held up in Nebraska. So
cool.
I was not playing whatsoever. Like, I was zoned in. I was focused. I was like, you don't have nothing. I'm like, you're fighting the same way how you fought me last time. I've grown so much, it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
And the person I am now would beat the old person I was when I very first fought as a pro. So that shows how much I have grown. And within every fight, and I keep telling people, I'm never fighting the same.
Yeah.
It's easy for me to adjust. It's easy for me to do things differently, and my growth shows. My experience shows. I go in there looking like a lone seasoned vet, and I'm not. And that's just me speaking pro wise. I'm not.
Yeah.
But as far as fighting wise, I've been fighting. I had a ton of fights as an amateur, so I had to take
18 years of wrestling experience.
I mean, like, I had to take something from it. If not, then I'm not doing it right. So within there, I go out there and I dominate and I do what I'm supposed to do. I'll even, especially when guys that's longer than me, have longer reach than me, I would literally push forward, and it's just gutsy for other people to, that
Like down
to
on the
just end
mouthpiece,
up
get in the
doing it,
face. Yeah.
right? But at the same sense, the name of the game is, everybody like, not to get hit. I don't like to get hit, and I barely get hit. And I'll slip at the last moment and let it graze me, or I'll take a little punch just to dish out exactly what I want,
Yep.
and I'll pick you apart and try to make sure I, utilize all my aspects of everything, man. And like I said, I didn't want to fall into that fad. Once I knew I won the belt, I was like, I'm ready. It's a done deal. Let's see who we can get. And I got Jeff, and then after that, I got Keegan Blanco. And then from there, I ended up taking on, I believe, what was it?
Justin Parker.
Justin. Yep, I ended up taking on Justin, and then Bill Camry.
Yep.
And then after Bill, I ended up taking Rakim. And,
Rakan Ivan, who's on the show recently.
That's a Rakan.
Yeah.
Sorry.
He's got a fight coming up, Colorado Combat Club 5. But
oh, yeah, I seen the cat that he's fighting.
Zach Riley.
Yeah.
He's local, too.
I seen him fight before.
I was looking at his resume. He's got some big names on his resume as far as people he's fought.
Oh, I seen that, and he's on the list.
Cool.
He's on the list, but we're gonna see. Like I said, I don't really do call outs like that anyway.
Sure.
So, but at the end of the day, like, whoever wants to smoke is all welcome. So,
and I mean, it looks like you made a wise decision as far as when to go pro. 5-0 now, coming up to this biggest fight, potentially of your career on LFA, a big stage, and like you said, a potential stepping stone to the UFC or whatever the next organization is. So if you had to, give a tip to a young fighter, something that that may have been beneficial to you when you were coming up, what would that be?
Be patient. Don't rush it. Don't follow the fad. Just make sure you're ready. If you have a hesitation upon saying you're ready, then you're not ready.
Yeah.
Trust your instinct on that. Don't just get caught up in the moment and be like, oh, I'm ready. I'm going to turn pro for my next fight, yada, yada. And you'll face a monster. You never know. You might face a guy that, just as equally as nervous as you, but have more experience or, more confident behind the work than you do. Because they can tell you, oh, this guy is, he's a grappler, but his striking is very good. But his wrestling is mediocre, so we're going to have to work with him, grind him out, and this is how we're going to do it. And you are so unconfident about it, you shouldn't have done that. You should literally just, unless you got lady luck on your side, because, again, it's a fight game, anything can happen. But at the end of the day, just take your time, be patient. If you got to fight freaking... I don't care, 15, 20, 22. I obviously with my record as amateur, I didn't care.
Right.
However many fights you feel that you need to feel confident within your skill set, and for you to continue to grow and make sure you don't know everything, be humble about the matter, then make that transition.
That's great advice.
But other than that, don't do it to yourself, because you're going to end up looking at a very short career, right, and you fall into the gap of what could have been, and that what could have. So I should have done this, I should have done that, and within regret. You don't want to go into the game having any regrets.
It's great advice. And I mean, that was your goal, essentially, that you wanted to be more well-rounded early in your career and understand all these different aspects.
Exactly.
So what would you say your goal is now?
My goal is now to, like I said, to end up making it within the organization itself, and let it be known, hey, my name is Nate Smith. I'd love to end up being a part of your organization. I'm going to show you, and I'm going to prove to you how dangerous I am. And because my fight name, The Savage itself, is I live by it. And I go by it, especially when I step foot in that cage, because that is home, that is an office for me. That is where I have the most fun. So at the end of the day, I am not worried about you. I don't care what you throw at me. You can switch up your entire game plan, or my game plan may not go as per se as planned. for that opponent, but I promise you I'll adjust. I promise you that second round is gonna be hell. James Krause kind of gave word of advice speaking. He's like, there's some gangsters out in this world, and some of you can beat up on for like 5-10 minutes. On that third round, they'll come back at you with everything. You're gonna be so tired, so exhausted. You gonna get beat on and probably get laid out from that person that you were just beating up on for that 5 to 10 minutes because they always stay in your face.
Yeah.
I'm that gangster. I don't care. I push forward. I'm very mean with my elbows and my knees, and everybody kind of underrates me on that one. I break a lot with the elbow. I break a lot with the knees. I do see some unique angles that I throw, and kind of end up taking into account. So I'm like the Savage itself, to the public. I'm always Nate the Savage Smith, but to these fighters, you might as well present to me as King Savage, because at the end of the day, I'm ruling over all, and either you're going to get with or get lost.
King Savage. I love it, dude. I love it. So, yeah, go watch him February 21st, Minnesota, LFA 82. Come watch it on Fight Pass Live. How can people follow you online? How can they follow your career?
You guys can follow me on Instagram, which is my Instagram handle is The Savage King 125. Alongside with my Facebook as Nate the Savage Smith. You can find my fight page on there as well. Even Twitter, which is NS Smith. NS1. One or two, I can't even remember. Don't just see me repost
Search
my
his
Twitter.
Name.
Yeah, because I forget my Twitter name sometimes.
That's
But mainly, if you like I say, you just mainly want to keep up with me on my Instagram and my Facebook, because that's where I mainly do a lot of my business as it is.
Sure.
My Instagram, again, is the Savage King 125, and I share a lot of things, a lot of updates, even a little bit of my personal life itself on there. But yeah, man, keep up with me. I promise you won't be displeased. And I know everybody was displeased with the fight that happened recently in Vegas, but I promise you, once you tune into my fight in Minnesota on UFC Fight Pass, I promise you won't be disappointed.
I'm excited for it, man. So yeah, give him a follow, check him out, watch him fight live, and give us a follow. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, The Prize Fighting Business. And man, Nate, that was awesome. Thank you so much.
I appreciate it.
I appreciate you.